Salute. Shout out to the chat. Knicks and Bruises, we back. Your blackest time. What's good with y'all, man? Uh this is sickening. Knicks and Bruises for real. Let me shout a couple of you guys out before I bring some guests in. Uh Knicks are nice in the building. Salute. Greg in the building. Yeah, I'm on sim time today. um Daniel Dennis, Dwayne Dennis, he said, if Brunson isn't as hurt as we all thought he was initially, do we play him the next game against the Hawks, or do you sit him and jeopardize losing him for the playoffs? I don't think he's playing next game. Um, Hopefully it's not as serious as we thought, but I do not think he's playing next game, and I don't think they should play him if he could play. He would have came back if that was the case. Um, King Cripes, he says, "Yo, Tony, they use Knicks and Bruises on NBA Today. I hope you own it. They may owe you some paper. Don't forget me." um, Sim is my representation, so let me talk to Sim and see see what we can figure out, and I won't forget. Oh, let me bring the Queen in the building, and let me bring my guy Ron in the building. Salute. What's going on with y'all?
Good, good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sounding good,
What's
nice and
what's
clear.
happening, Captain?
All right, before I get you guys' thoughts, let me just tell you how my day went yesterday.
Okay.
Hey,
Um,
Steph.
Hey, Ron.
I'm at work. It's busy. I'm short staff. I know it's gonna be a long day. I know I'm not getting out before the game's over. I'm checking periodically once the stores close. You know, I'm seeing the score a little bit, but the internet was choppy. So I'm like, forget this. I'm not gonna get to watch it. Boom. Get home. Check the score. Say, all right, we won. Cool. So Sim earlier, once I knew it was gonna be a bad day, I'm like, I'm not gonna make the post game. I got losers lounge set up if you know what I mean, if we win, but I'm not gonna make it. I gotta get up early. So I proceed, take my melatonin, put the game on. Let me watch the game while I fall asleep. And you guys know what happened. 50 seconds in, Brunson goes down. I stopped the game. I'm texting Sim. Sim, wait. We got the win, but you ain't tell me Brunson went down. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, word, yeah, Brunson went down. So I proceeded to watch the game, but I just fall asleep, and I didn't get no alerts, no messages. I wake up, I get the news of them saying it's a contusion or whatever the case. Then X-rays were negative, but
Mm-hmm.
like someone in the chat said, let me see if I could find it. Who was it? Oh, where's that? Where's that? Oh, there we go. Knicks are nice. I don't believe Knicks PR. They lied about OG's injury too. Um, I don't know if they lied or what, but they definitely are never very forthcoming with any type of injury information. Very slow to give you the details. Um, when Randall got his surgery, when OG got his surgery, they announced it after the surgery. You know what I mean? They didn't announce it beforehand. Not, God forbid, God willing, knock on wood. I hear that, right? I'm knocking on wood. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not wishing anything on Brunson. I don't think it's that serious, but they're never very forthcoming. So, yeah, great to get the win, but the concern moving forward, and I really do want to talk about this game because I watched it in its entirety today, and I got it on for the second time now, and it was a great game. So we'll get into that, but level of concern on this injury. What are your thoughts on the news that X-rays were negative? I'm always under the assumption from history with this team, it's usually X-ray first, then MRI. But I haven't heard any talk of MRI at all. Usually they at least say that they do say, we're doing the X-rays such and such. We're gonna do an MRI tomorrow. I haven't heard anything like that at all. So I'm hoping that's another good sign. But you guys give me your thoughts of how you experienced it and your reaction to it, because geez, man, this year, man.
I'll let Steph go first because he probably saw it. I was in the kitchen cooking.
Mm.
Well, I didn't see it in real time because I started watching the game an hour late, but it was on TV. It was on DVR. So when he went down and I saw it was a non-contact injury, I thought he had tore a ligament in his knee. And I was like, here we go. The Knicks just cannot have good things. I said, Brunson, and like what I'm hearing now that, the x-rays are negative. I guess we'll hear about the MRI. I was shocked. I was really shocked because when you've seen injuries in the past, sorry about that. That's
Hey.
I know,
He was getting funky over here, boy.
That's what you know what, I got it attached to my roadcaster for when I take calls. That's what happened. Kevin Durant's injury, any type of injury you've seen, it's usually a non-contact injury where you're like, what happened? Did the person just went? So I think the Knicks are super lucky, and Knicks fans are super fortunate. But yeah, that was the first thing I thought. Season over.
Yeah.
A couple things. Actually, somebody in the chat said they bumped knees. I'm sorry, my computer's acting crazy. Who said it? Well, somebody said they bumped knees.
Shop Powers.
Shop Powers. Sorry. Thank you.
3 steps before he went down, though.
And I did see that too. I see, because like I said, I just watched the game again, so I'd seen them bump knees prior to. Somebody else was showing. I mean, it was a non-definitive angle. I guess so. You can't really see if they bump knees, but like on the actual play, when he was taking the shot. But then there's another angle where I think you could clearly see they didn't on the shot. But yeah, they did bump knees on a drive prior to.
Correct.
Right.
I did see that.
Steps, though. He took a few more steps, and it looked okay afterwards. Yeah. There's somebody in the room. I don't know if you see him, Tom.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Someone's in the green room. I don't know if you see them.
Yeah. Evo got the keys. He could jump in, you know what I mean? Whatever he ready.
I don't. Does he?
No?
Oh no.
My apologies. My apologies. Welcome aboard, Evo.
What's happening, brother? Oh, sorry, I got too hyped. I see Evo.
Yeah, I'm telling you, what's up?
The fans all together.
I basically just gave the story of how I found out because I didn't get to watch it live. Queen, you didn't watch it live, so you didn't know what happened either. Like you didn't get you didn't know.
So I knew he was out.
Okay.
I didn't know
so you had
was
warning. You had warning. Okay.
Right, and you know what? The funny thing is, isn't that weird that none of us got to see it live? Maybe Eru did. I was in the kitchen cooking, and I didn't even know it happened. The only reason why I knew it happened is because John texted me, and he was like, "Brunson just went down." I was like, "No." I was like, "What?"
I didn't see it live either.
Yeah.
I was messing around with the kids. Yeah, the kids been busy the last couple nights.
Now we're gonna take the blame for this because nobody got to watch the game. I'm sorry, Evo. Continue.
No, I'm just saying I was hanging out with the kids and stuff. It's been the last couple nights. They've been going through a lot of stuff the last couple nights. Some of the guys from the chat, they were like, "Yo, where you at?" Because I usually do the watch along, but I didn't give no announcement saying I was going to do like a halftime type of thing. But there was like a couple of people hit me up and said, "Yo, Brunson's down. Brunson's down. Oh my God, you need to. Where you at? Where you at?" Like, I'm like, oh, snap, what happened? But I heard you guys talking, but I think it was that bump knee in the beginning. Like he had bumped knees, and sometimes when you hit if you hit your funny bone, everybody knows that when you hit the funny bone, it doesn't feel good. Like you're like, oh man, like so when you do it to your knee, it does the same kind of effect. So I think that's what happened. So I don't.
I've had that happen to me before. When you somebody hits your knee or whatever, and then I went to go jump, and when I went to push, I didn't get any give. It didn't do anything. I was like I couldn't get up. Not that I could really get up in the past anyway. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, but yeah, but I knew something was weird. And obviously you guys could see it's a non-contact injury, but it looked even worse because everybody was like, "Oh, he came down funny." And no, when he was going up, you could see he was already in pain. So I was like, "Oh boy."
I thought it was the Achilles that went.
Yeah. Oof. Or what's the thing when was it meniscus? No, it's not meniscus. The patella. Because I've actually had two friends playing basketball on the court and tear their patellas. And the kneecap goes up. Ooh, that's some scary stuff right there.
Yeah, kneecap disappears. I've seen it happen a couple times.
Yeah. Uh-oh, you on mute.
You're on mute, yeah.
They're saying day to day or whatever. I think he should sit out the next game just to be clear, or just to be safe, especially considering we got this dub when I think everything was stacked against us. I don't think anyone thought we was gonna pull this one out. Especially with Brunson going down, we definitely probably didn't think we were gonna pull this out. But watching the game and watching it twice and watching it like with a different perspective, knowing that it was late, you know what I mean? Knowing Brunson went down, I really like what I saw last night. This was one of the best wins of the season for so many different reasons. Obviously, number one, they did it without Brunson, but so many unsung heroes like Deuce McBride playing 47 minutes. Came in when Brunson went out 50 seconds in and didn't miss a minute the rest of the game and played exceptionally well. Both ends of the floor. Really, I mean, it's gonna be tough for him to be the odd man out. You know what I mean? Moving forward, like Tibbs got some decisions to make. Precious Achua continues to just be active and a ball of energy, hit the three again. You know what I mean? Plays great defense, effort, the rebounding. Josh Hart
Killing.
Risking his life every night.
Triple double again. This is his third in his career, all in the last 14 games. Like, literally playing the best basketball of his career when it looked so shaky, so rocky earlier, right? Yeah. Bogey's a bucket. I was looking at. I'm not even gonna look to pull it up, but I was looking at the box scores and everything, and the plus minuses and all that. So Bogey's plus minus was, I want to say, like it was either minus 11 or minus 17, right? So I seen that before I watched the game, and so I'm looking to see like what happened. He had about 2 defensive lapses that I seen definitively like his fault, and I think he had 2 turnovers in the stretch that I was analyzing this. But this man is a bucket, a certified bucket. Like, and he's making the most of the opportunity he gets when he gets it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so many unsung heroes. I want to know what y'all think about what y'all thought about the game itself. Salute Josh. And before I do that, let me just get Josh's initial reaction. First off, did you watch the game live?
Yes, I did.
Okay, all right. Breaking the streak because none of us got to see it live.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. So your initial reaction, initial thoughts when you seen it. What? I ain't get a text. I ain't get a text from nobody, so I didn't. You know what I mean? But what were your thoughts?
Well, first of all, salute to everybody. Salute to the chat out there. Salute to Knicks and Bruce's family. My initial thoughts, I didn't see any contact, so I automatically thought the worst. Right? You know, the way, he went up for it and then just kind of non-contact, that kind of thing. I automatically assumed the worst, the way he was holding his knee, the fact that he had to get helped off the floor. To me, I thought it was the worst thing. But apparently, there was some contact on the outside of it, like the MD stutterer or whoever, like, basically mentioned. So that kind of calmed my nerves about that a little bit. But one thing after another, like the Knicks is always going through this adversity. There's always something with this team. Injuries. So hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully the Knicks give us an update, something that's accurate that we can really hold on to. But that was my initial concern when I first saw the injury.
No doubt. Actually, before we get into the game, let's give you. Let me tell me how y'all feel now. All things considered, listed as day to day as of right now. What's your concern level for Brunson? Moving forward. We could start with Eru, Josh, and go around.
Well, initially when I first saw the videos, I thought I was upset, but now to see what's going on, I'm okay. Because we play the Hawks tomorrow, and I think Trae Young is out. So if he misses that game, he'll have 2 extra days because we're off the next 2 days. So he'll be good. I think if he takes off this day, because that's another thing too. Tom Thibodeau, like he prioritized to win every single game. Like every minute he wants to win every minute of every basketball game. So I think it's a positive. That's our personality, and it's also a negative too in a way. You know what I'm saying, as far as health wise for all our team and stuff. But I'm okay with it. I would like to see Shake Milton, get some minutes. I want to see Burks finally get get some extra minutes to kind of get I don't know what's going on with him. He's spooked or something. Just trying to get himself into the flow of things, whatever. So having Brunson out one game and having 2 extra days off, I think that would help the whole situation probably. I think.
Yeah, and again, we'll talk about it. But given the way, people have been stepping up all across the board. You know what I mean? Granted, we didn't have that same. We didn't get the wins in these stretches. Prior to the when we was on this losing streak. Before we broke it. Go ahead, Josh.
For me, I just don't understand how people are associating Tom Thibodeau with any of these injuries. I just don't get it. It does not make sense to me at all whatsoever. And I think the overarching theme is whatever the Knicks have done, as far as the culture and what Tom Thibodeau has instilled with this team, that's what got us to this point. That's what makes the Knicks who they are. You know what I mean? By the type of culture and the mentality of playing and playing hard, all those kinds of things. So to me, I don't associate Tom Thibodeau with this at all. I just think, we got to be able to continue to do what we've done to get us to this point. And I think come playoff time, it'll all pay dividends, in my opinion. I'm not concerned at all about Jalen Brunson moving forward. As long as he's, day to day, get healthy, get right. The rest of the guys get healthy, get right. I'm not concerned whatsoever.
Ron?
I think at first I wasn't blaming Tibbs for the injuries. And I'm not necessarily saying that he is the direct cause of some of the types of injuries that are happening. Indirectly, maybe, but not. I want to say it like I've been thinking about it more. Like I've had a lot of time to really think about it. And I indirectly, I do think he's the cause, but it's not anything he's doing that another coach who has the ability to do it wouldn't do. I think what's really happening as far as the other injuries, like the hamstring type stuff, and Tibbs is just a coach that players like. You know what I mean? There's players that don't know about Tibbs that have this misconception about him and feel like, oh, he's going to run you into the ground, or he's this type of coach. He's stubborn. He doesn't let you get your game off or whatever and all that. But the players who actually play for Tibbs, that have been with Tibbs for years, they love Tibbs, right? And you could see they're coming from everywhere. New players coming this year, new players from last, whatever. They're coming, they're being a part of the mix. And they want to go through a wall for Tibbs. Yeah, I don't mind playing 47, 48 minutes. I don't care. I'll play all game. Just put me out there, coach. It's something about Tibbs that these players want to not only play as hard as they can, but they don't mind playing the whole game. And so indirectly, that could be a bad thing. But it's not Tibbs. Tibbs is just doing something that's giving these guys a comfort, okay? I said before, I have a little issue with him when it comes to young players who he's not sure about. But when it comes to players that have been in the league, that have shown their worth, he is great with those type of players. And now, because of the trades and the acquisitions and moves, the Knicks have more of those type of players. So I just think that right now I'm not going to blame him for the injuries. I do know he's in a situation where he's forced to play players a lot more than he would even want to, even more than the Tibbs norm. But when you look around the league, you see a lot of guys are playing a hefty amount of minutes normally. So we just in a situation where guys are just forced to play and do so much because there's no other help. So I just that's all it is for me. I feel good about the team though, and I like the win.
What players have said anything negative about Tom Thibodeau? I've been searching all over YouTube, like trying to find clips of players that say anything negative about Tom Thibodeau, running them into the ground and stuff like that. I think that is a false narrative that's put out there amongst fans about Tom Thibodeau. I truly think that. I truly believe that.
Players have said it, but I haven't seen a player who played for him who said it. I'll say that.
That's to my point, Tony. That's what I'm thinking.
I think it's a running joke between some, and I think Julius was joking about it. You see, what's money's name? He has a podcast. Theo Pinson was joking around about that. That's just like one of those jokes that are around the league that Tom Thibodeau's going to play you, X amount of minutes or whatever. So. Just more than anything, I think it's just like a running thing that they say about him.
And Queen, Ron, I'm gonna respond to some of the things you said, but I want Queen to
what was the original question?
Your level of concern for Brunson and this current injury.
Depends on what the report says. He had X-rays was negative. I guess he'll get an MRI. I mean, my concern would be based on what the report says. If the X-rays are negative, the MRI is negative, then I don't have any concerns.
And this is the second time you mentioned the MRI. Have you heard that's?
I haven't heard. I'm just assuming that they're not going to just stop at an X-ray, but I haven't heard.
Okay. No. I was just wondering because with Randall and with OG, they did say X-ray, MR, and then MRI the next day. You know what I mean? Like they said it the first day that was the procedure: X-ray first, MRI next. So I'm skeptical as to why they wouldn't have said that.
I just wanted to tell you there was an update.
Okay,
there was an update, Tony. The update yesterday, or maybe it was reiterated this morning, was that they deemed an MRI wasn't necessary.
Okay. So great.
Oh, and sorry, I don't know. I answered your question indirectly because of what the fans are talking about.
I heard you.
But directly, yeah, I'm not concerned about Brunson. Now knowing a little bit more, and the other thing I wanted to ask, because you were talking about it before you continue, is he bumped knees, but did he bump knees with a guy on the Cavaliers? Because I heard that he bumped knees with Hartenstein a play prior. I thought it was him and Hartenstein had bumped knees by accident. So I don't know. I don't know who he bumped knees with.
I seen him bump knees with. I want to say a Coro on.
Oh, okay.
If it wasn't the same, I want to say it was the same exact drive or the same exact possession. It may have been multiple possessions on that first. You know what I mean? him having the ball multiple times in that first possession. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, 50 seconds in, it was only one play. You know what I mean? So
That would be a disaster if he bumped knees with Hartenstein. We lose 2 players.
Yeah, that's why I was like, whoa, what happened here?
That would be a disaster.
Hartenstein went down a couple times last night too, as did DiVincenzo twisted his ankle. Like I was watching this game, like what is going on?
Yeah. Before you continue, once again, I'm sorry. It's the content creator in me. Kev Guapo, and I'm only answering this because other people are thinking the same thing because we really don't know. Like, unless you was watching and saw what happened right before, you missed it. No, it wasn't. He didn't bump knees with the guy going up on the actual thing when you saw him hurt. It was prior to that. So it was right before that.
It was like he was coming around the screen. The guys were locking up with each other face to face, and when he came around, he bumped his knee with that guy.
What was so funny is that he took 3 more good steps, and he looked okay. So then when he went up, I'm like,
his leg died on him. He got hit like in the funny bone kind of in his knee.
Yeah,
and the pain, like what I mean, from his face wasn't until he was in the air. You know what I mean? Like, which was
he
even
wasn't limping
weird.
off the bump or nothing.
Right.
Well, his ankle was slumped too. People thought it was his ankle that he came down on his ankle because he like kind of like lost. That's what I'm trying to say. I think it was just like a stinger.
Dead foot.
His foot went dead on him. You know. What I'm
saying?
Yeah.
He lost the sensation, and he just couldn't. He couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Travis Ryan said it looked like he bumped knees with Hart and the curl. Like he bumped it twice. What was you guys' thoughts on the game itself? Because as I pointed out a little while ago, a bunch of unsung heroes all over the place. I think it might be definitely top 5, might be top 3, might be number 1 win of the year, based off of the circumstances. Go ahead, Josh. You can lead again since it's
No, I mean, I just think every time the Knicks win after we've had like a losing streak or how we win, it's always going to be, this is a top 3 or top 1 win of the year. I mean, last night didn't tell me anything that I didn't already know about this team. This team is resilient. That's who they are. Everyone that has a problem with the way Tibbs does his rotations or does his minutes or quote unquote the culture that is set in the building. I mean, this is the results. This is what you get on the other side of it, right? I mean, last night didn't tell me anything I didn't already know about this Knicks team, in my opinion. So I don't want to say it's the top 1, top 3 win of the year, all that kind of stuff. I just think last night showed us who this team is.
That's what I was saying. I'm asking you, what were your thoughts on the game? It don't have to be top anything for you. That's your thought.
My thought. I mean, I'm just not surprised. That's basically what I'm trying to get at. I'm not surprised with how this team was able to pull together and win last night's game, because they've done this type of thing before. You know what I'm saying? Anything less than what they showed last night, that would be surprising. But it doesn't surprise me what they did last night.
Eru?
Yeah, same thing. I don't really see no surprise. Just it hurts because we're not healthy. So when we lose, like you kind of don't feel upset about the loss because we're injured. We lost like 4 starters right now. Where Brunson is 4 starters. So, but when we do win, man, you can see the toughness. We win these games due to toughness, and that's it's credit to Tom Thibodeau for that. Substitutions and all that. Tom Thibodeau's not perfect, man, but I mean just the attitude. We took on his personality, man. So, like other teams, I want to say, like, this guy kind of rubbed me the wrong way, man. What's his name? The young kid on their team, the power forward. He was crying. He was saying,
yeah.
Yeah, remember in the beginning he was crying. He said, they stopped the game and it took the momentum away. That was 47 seconds into the game. Like, what are you talking about? So I mean, the other teams, they might have taller players, they might have bigger players, they might try to be physical, throwing elbows and being extra like dirty to the Knicks. The Knicks are never dirty. The Knicks always
Evan Mobley. Sorry, Eru.
Yeah, Evan Mobley. He was the one that was crying in the beginning of the game. But I mean, we don't cry. We play extremely hard. We don't play dirty. We don't throw guys on the floor. We don't throw elbows and nothing like that. We just play extremely hard for 48 minutes, and teams can't deal with it. And I think that's our biggest asset as a team is that we just show up to teams and we just take their heart right out their chest, no matter how hard they play and who's on the court, which is amazing.
That's a fact.
I guess I'm up next anyway because I had to add on to what Eru was saying. You know, to me, what made it. I mean, I understand what Mobley said. It was weird, right? But to me, I thought what was even weirder was this was a home game for the Cavaliers with a lot of Cavalier media. Why would you even ask that question? The question was stupid. So you mean to tell me in a game that started where you were losing, like it was only a couple points, but the Knicks were leading, did the Brunson injury break the momentum of the team? Do you feel like what type of stupid question is that to begin with? Like, what are you talking about? Why would you even ask that question? I don't understand. And then you put Mobley in a bad position to look bad by answering it. And he gave a truthful answer, which was weird because I'm kind of surprised that affected him. Like, I could understand if you guys want a 10-0 run, it stopped the momentum and you sat for like 3-4 minutes. You guys got cold and then the Knicks was winning. It was like the game had just started. I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird question.
So this was post game. It
was post game.
Okay.
Yeah. It was just a weird question to ask. That was. I thought that was like. I was like, I could expect somebody asking that from the New York media in New York, but in Cleveland, that was just weird. And so the game itself, I thought, I'm with you. Like, it was a resilient game. It was nice to see the Knicks come out and play Nick back. So here's my thing. This is my thing. My running thing I've been saying. As long as the Knicks just go out there and play their game and give the effort they're going to give from quarter 1 to quarter 4, this is what you're going to see. The Knicks will be in every game and they'll have a chance to win. No matter who's out there, if they play from quarter 1 to quarter 4, you're going to see this type of effort and you're going to see this type of, hey, the Knicks are in every game and have a chance to win. So I wasn't surprised. And the other thing is sometimes outside of the Knicks just showing effort, sometimes the shots are just not falling. And we got this Tom Thibodeau team is turned into a bunch of jump shooters now. So if they're not hitting their shots, it's going to be a long night. And last night, the Knicks actually were hitting their shots. So there you go.
Yeah.
Queen?
Yeah, I thought it was an impressive win. Actually, players stepped up. McBride didn't come off the floor. Played probably the most minutes he's ever played in a game and played well. Bojan with the fadeaway, to create space on his shot. I still think the Knicks have enough to win, and I think we can be happy with their effort through 4 quarters. But at some point, they're gonna have to close these games out. I mean, they're 1 game or 1.5 games. I haven't looked at the standings out of the play-in. So sure, when we get everybody back, we're going to be fine. But this team right now has to find a way to get some wins. I thought last night was impressive in the sense that, Brunson went out in under 1 minute. It wasn't like you knew he was going to be out, so you're practicing for that. And guys know, Deuce knows he's going to start, so you get mentally ready. You know what your role. Nah, he went out. Everybody had to adjust on the fly. So it does speak to something I'm not surprised at, which is the team's mental toughness and heart. You're going to always get that from the Knicks. But at this point, Bojan, Burks, Milton, whenever he gets here, we got to start winning some of these games. And I think the Knicks, have enough, but everybody pretty much has to be at the top of their game.
Yeah, that margin of error.
Yeah, the margin of error is small. Correct.
You sound just like this. We have enough to win. Like, whoever's on the court, whoever's
enough to win.
I'm gonna start with you, Queen. And this is not. I'm not trying to influence you. I just wanted to add because you was talking about Deuce McBride and his 47 minutes, 0 turnovers. But who would be your player of the game in last night's game? Because I think you could go many different directions.
Yeah, you can go with McBride, Hart, Bojan, but I'm going with Hart. I'm going with Hart. He he was that main guy. Everybody else played around him and they did their part, but he was the main guy, the driver of the team, in my opinion. That three he hit in the corner, and Deuce had a great shot afterwards as well. But I'm gonna go with Hart. He was everywhere doing whatever he needed to do to help the team win. So I'm gonna go with Hart, but I'm not arguing with anybody who picks McBride or Bojan, but I'm going with Hart.
Ron?
I got to go with Hart. Even if I wanted to choose somebody else, I wouldn't. I would have to go with Hart, especially with the current Nick narrative out there about Josh Hart and his game. I mean, people are tripping. Josh Hart has been fantastic, especially over the last 10 games. So, Josh Hart all the way.
What about his
I
contract?
forgot about Devo. I forgot about Devo. Honorable mention as well.
Iru?
Well, I was gonna say DiVincenzo just to be different. That jump shot of his is crazy, man. You know, he could get that thing off quick. Like Bojan is the same way. They both got a really, really high quick release, man. But this guy DiVincenzo, all he needs is a little bit of daylight. The guy steps back a little bit, and the guys in his face can contest him. But if he can get his legs together and get that quick flick, man, that thing is going in, baby. Bang, bang. And the defense-wise, him driving the basket, the up and under layups on the opposite side of the rim, man, he's excellent. You know, since January, I think he's averaging 18 points per game. But like the last couple games, the dude is like averaging 22 or something like that. If you want to say that, the last like month or so.
Great efficiency, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Since OG and Randall went down, he's above 20.
So I like to throw that at you guys because you know, you hear like what is DiVincenzo? At first he was a role player when he first came through here. People was upset that he took Grimes' spot. But now we can start to look at him a little bit different. This guy is not just a role player, spot up shooting kind of guy. This guy can get you 20 a night with no problem. You know?
Yeah, I was thinking about it yesterday, just saying like, man, we talking about this you know, this next trade, this next move, and theoretically it's only gonna be a big or a two, right? And I'm just thinking about like, man, like DiVincenzo has been playing very well. Like, I don't know if that next guy, even if he's better, you know what I mean? If the fit is, you know what I mean? Like if the chemistry is gonna be the same. But then I'm like, well, DiVincenzo.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Quinn.
And I'm listen. I'm also thinking though. But I'm like, man, DiVincenzo as the firepower as the sixth man, you know what I mean, or off the bench is you know what I mean, and that's gravy too.
He's playing well, no doubt about it.
I mean, DiVincenzo as a sixth man.
So he was what, 5 for 10 in the first quarter. In the second quarter, he was 0 for 3. I'm like, oh, man, he's killing us, man. He's so off and on. You know what I mean? Third quarter, 5 for 6. I'm like, he's back.
But you know what? I will say, Tony, in fairness to him, for a guy who is a jump shooter, and he really doesn't take. Sounds weird, right? But he doesn't really take and when the Knicks are normal, he doesn't really take a lot of volume shots. Like he takes a good amount, but it's not crazy. He's not one of those that's a gunner. But when the guys are out and he has to step up his game and he's got to shoot a lot of shots, I think that's the only thing that has affected some of his efficiency, because he's been forced to put up more points and take more shots. It's still been good. You know, I know
it's still been good. And I mean, I may be the minority, but I want him to continue that when we're at full strength. I don't want him to defer. I want him to be as much of an offensive threat as possible on the floor with, you know what I mean, the starters at full strength as well. Now, I mean, and it's going to be about the opportunities, you know what I mean? But I want him to take full advantage of every opportunity, and I think that's what they're feeding him. I think we've seen the increase with, you know what I mean, with the starters out, but I think that's what they want. You know what I mean? That's what we wanted from Grimes. You know what I mean? In a sense, not to compare the two, because he's nowhere on that type of hesitancy. Who's your player of the game, Josh?
Oh, for me, it's Josh Hart. And you kind of went off and spoke about Dante DiVincenzo. I'm going to get to that in a second. But as far as Josh Hart, to me, he has been much better in the half court. That was my big gripe with Josh Hart when we spoke about the contract at length, Tony, and how much he deserves to get paid and stuff like that. But he has taken a step forward in the half court, in my opinion. Not only the ability to knock down shots, but also put the ball on the floor and being able to finish at the rim, which is something that Josh Hart has not done consistently throughout his whole entire career, right? But I guess, with the players being out and him having that starting role, played 47 minutes the other night, he has definitely taken a step forward in that regard. I'm just hopeful that he can be able to translate what he's doing now in that bench role, now as a starter to the bench role come playoff time once we get everybody back. That's what I'm really hoping for, because that changes everything. I think if we saw this type of Josh Hart right now, last year against Miami in the playoffs, that series would have been different. We probably could have made up for a little bit of not having quickly, right? Because Josh Hart is much more effective in the half court. So for me, it's Josh Hart, no question about it. As far as Dante DiVincenzo, I think he is a role player, right? And that's not saying anything to slight him. I think when we're fully healthy, his role is to come across those curls, dribble handoffs, and to knock down that 3-point shot. And I always knew he had the ability to do other things. But as far as shot volume, I'm not really concerned about that. I'm concerned about how the Knicks are getting their shots, where they're coming from, things of that nature. And he is a perfect fit for what we got going on right now. So I'm proud of Dante DiVincenzo. I'm glad he's playing well and he's increased his output as far as volume. But really, it's going to depend on how the Knicks are getting their shots in the half court once everybody comes back. And that's what I'm really concerned about. But to answer your question, Tony, Josh Hart for me is the player of the game. He's been playing really, really well since the guys have been out.
Yeah, I was torn. I think it could be Hart, it could be DiVincenzo, it could be McBride. I think I'm gonna go with McBride just because he had the largest opportunity that he's ever had in his career. I mean, I know it's not a playoff game, but the ramifications of the game, you know what I mean, whether we won or lost that game and what it meant was huge. So, what I mean, one of the biggest games of his career with the biggest opportunity. And I mean, 47 minutes, 0 turnovers. I think he had 16 points. I don't even remember the stat line, but I mean, just watching him perform and not even realize he didn't get a break. You know what I mean? Until afterwards, like, oh wow, like he played the whole game. And then looking at that stat line, no turnovers, man, that's phenomenal. Like he's been earning his way into Tibbs' circle, and I'm telling you, like Tibbs is gonna have some decisions to make when we are at full strength, because I mean, based off the play alone, you know what I mean, you gotta give him his fair shots. You know what I mean? And I also think what this game does and what these moments are doing with all these guys out is giving guys the opportunity to get into Tibbs' trust. You know what I mean? Get into his circle. So now, maybe moving forward at full strength, these guys could give the starters their fair rest. You know what I mean? And know that, I mean, granted, the non-Brunson minutes, that's been a thing, right? You know what I mean? We got to figure these things out. I've been saying it time and time again. It don't have to be McBride's fault, but when things look shaky in the non-Brunson minutes, he's gonna be the guy that is sacrificed, whether it's his fault or not. He could be playing his greatest, you know what I mean? But we gotta win those minutes so Brunson can rest. You know what I mean? We gotta win those minutes so Randall can rest. We gotta win those minutes so the starters can get their fair rest. Otherwise, that thing is gonna click off into his head. And
Tony,
I'm not playing. Yeah.
Tony, can I add on to what you're saying? I think that's really important what you said. I wouldn't say that they have to earn Tibbs' trust. I think they already have Tibbs' trust, right? I think they have to basically earn our trust as fans. because these players like McBride, he's always been in a circle of Tom Thibodeau, right? He's always been out there in that circle, right? I think that this opportunity that these players have, these bench players, quote unquote bench players, is the opportunity to expand their games. We're seeing Deuce McBride do stuff we haven't seen him really do before. Like, you know what I mean? Put the ball on the floor a little bit more. He's always been a really good mid-range shooter, but now his three-point ball is now expanding. That's opening up. Josh Hart, I already talked about him. Dante DiVincenzo. So I really think that's what it really comes down to for these extra minutes that they're going to get. And come playoff time, in the regular season, there's going to be players that are going to come in and out the rotation, things like that. Come playoff time, depending on who the matchup is, that's when we'll see who is going to make the biggest impact on the floor depending on whoever the matchup is. You know what I mean? If we play Boston or if we play Miami, I think Tibbs is going to have to make the choice of which players he's going to have in this 9-man rotation to counteract whatever Miami or whatever the opposing team is doing. And that's what he's trying to find out during this regular season. So players are going to go in and out based off of, just whatever, how Tibbs feels that day, I suppose, during the regular season. But come playoff time, that's when we'll really know who Tibbs really is going to put out there and has his trust.
He definitely don't trust this guy, Alec Burks. Alec Burks only played 11 minutes. So, I mean, just leaving McBride out there for 48, that tells you all you need to know about what he thinks about Alec Burks, He said, you know what, I'd rather have Burks out there tired than having Alec Burks come out there to spell, McBride out there.
But I think this is something new with Tibbs. Because I think in years past, he had his 9. And that was it regardless. I think what's making it easy for him is that these are his types of players. And I think he's had a lot to do with the players that are on this roster right now. And so he feels comfortable now playing different players in different situations. And I hope this continues in the playoffs, because there'll be games, maybe Precious plays and Bojan doesn't get a lot of minutes, or maybe Bojan plays more and Precious doesn't get a lot of minutes. And maybe if Burks is on, Burks plays and McBride doesn't, and vice versa. But, it's, having that flexibility and not locking yourself into, even if you want to play 9, and, like people make a big deal out of that, fans, but it's not uncommon in the playoffs for a coach to shorten their rotation to 8. Boston may just see 7, because they're not a really deep team. That's not uncommon. But which 8, which 9? It doesn't have to be the same 8 no matter what. And so that's what I'm hoping with Tom Thibodeau going into the playoffs, that he's really flexible with the minutes and who plays and for how much based on the situation. We might even see somebody play in the first half and not playing, and not play in the second.
Or from game to game. Yep.
Or from game to game. All of that being said, the best players are going to play. Because I know I've heard fans say that, Randall was having a bad game and he still rolled him out in the second half. Yeah, your best players are going to play no matter what. We're talking about the other players.
And that's
can I ask a question? I'm sorry.
Real quick. That's the point I was trying to say. Not necessarily playing everybody every game, but playing guys based off need and based off what that this individual could do. You know what I mean? Like, so now if you need perimeter guard defense, all right, we know Deuce is available for that. You know what I mean? If you need some interior defense, give Precious some extra minutes tonight. You know what I mean? Switch it up based off of need, based off of what these guys' strengths are. So yeah, I agree 100%. Go ahead, Josh.
I have a comment. I'm gonna follow up with a question. So my comment, to me, I think that flexibility that Steph talked about, that Tibbs never had before, that he has right now, when healthy, of course, when everybody gets back healthy. Let's just make sure everyone knows that. That flexibility is just important to me as a quote unquote team that has a better roster, so to speak, or more top heavy with talent, a more talented roster, right? I think because the playoffs to me is a lot about coaching and the decisions that are made, as Steph talked about. Those decisions, who you're going to put in from game to game, the matchup, stuff like that. Do y'all feel that this Knicks team, and to me, this is the reason why I think the Knicks can contend this year once everybody's healthy, because of that flexibility. Do y'all think that flexibility is just as important as having that top-end talent, or do you think top-end talent still overrules everything come playoff time.
Ooh, I'm going first. I definitely I've been saying that. Like, we've argued about that. So I don't know when you've got this point of view, but I've been saying a balanced team can contend with a top heavy team. You
Well,
know
the
what I mean?
Knicks haven't had it before, so that was the reason why they haven't had this level of flexibility throughout the roster. They haven't had this level of it.
No,
So I
not
guess
we
that's where I
haven't,
was
but
coming from.
we've been
Yeah.
building consistently through these years. You know what I mean? With a couple of hiccups, you know, Kemba, Evan, you know what I mean? A couple of hiccups along the way, but I think the model was there, the blueprint was there from the beginning.
We weren't ready to win a championship before, though. I think we are with the flexibility that we have now. So I guess that's the difference. But okay, no, I definitely hear what you're saying. Another thing I'm going to throw out there, like Boston, right? Boston had a.
We didn't answer your question.
Sorry, my bad.
We didn't answer the question.
I'm excited. I'm just excited. We're talking Knicks championship. I'm excited.
I would still prefer a bit more top heavy, and maybe once I see this team in the playoffs and I see everybody show up, maybe I'll have a different frame. But I'm really concerned about our number 3. I just feel in the playoffs, when things really slow down, we got a lot of guys who play off of Brunson, a lot of guys who play off of Randall. And I like the fact that they're shooters, because we didn't have that last year. And that's something I've been asking for. And we finally have shooters on this team around those 2 guys. But I would feel so much more comfortable if we had one more bona fide scorer that could get a bucket. Now, DiVincenzo has shown that, surprisingly. OG has shown that in spurts. But basically, in terms of like who can get a bucket when things slow down, Brunson, maybe Randall. And the reason I say Randall, I'm not questioning his talent. I'm questioning the space that he plays in and how they can crowd him and things like that. So I'm super excited about this team. I do think it's a championship contending roster. I love the shooting. I love the flexibility. I love everything about it. But if we can get just one more bona fide scorer, even if that meant, I don't want to take away all of our depth, but even if that meant instead of being 9 deep, we were 7 deep. 8 deep. I would go for it. I just feel like we need one more bona fide scorer on this team.
And let me just make it clear, that doesn't mean I was against being top heavy. I'm just saying I've always felt if we could fill the roster with talent all across, you know what I mean? You got to use what you have to your advantage. You know what I mean? Some of these guys, we talked about Boston maybe potentially going 7 deep in the playoffs. Are they physically capable? You know what I mean? Are they used to playing those type of minutes and withstanding that load? Are they and this is a team that, you know what I mean, we've seen them kind of, lose it at the end of games over the years, or lose it at the end after winning 2 series and not getting over a certain hump. You know what I mean? So all of these things, are they physically prepared for that? I think we are all across the board.
And can I add? I just want everybody to understand. I think this conversation, when it comes to flexibility, is there because we do have 2 anchors in Randall and Brunson that are our leaders on the team, and they're all-star, all-NBA caliber players, right? I wasn't just asking that question if you have like no all-NBA players on your team. If you have all guys that fit together, is it going to be the same? You know what I mean? That's not where I was coming from. With the knowledge of having Brunson and Randall as your 2 anchors and having flexibility around them, even though those 2 guys aren't Tatum's or Jokic or Giannis, you know what I mean? Can it still work? And that's where I was coming from with that.
It can work. I would just feel more comfortable with, but yes, it can work. It can work.
I mean,
he said you being more positive than he's ever seen.
Yeah. This is a newfound Josh right here. We'll take it while it's here. Yeah, I'm kind of, I don't know. I agree with both sides of it, but I think the easy answer is probably I'm going to go with I'm going to err on the side of flexibility, just because at this point, I mean, we have to wait to see if we can get that third option back healthy. So if this is what we're working with, that I'm going to err on the side of flexibility, that Tibbs being flexible to allow different rotations and the ability to take a look at other guys in certain spots, see what they can bring to the table, is a good thing and is needed, especially if we're going to be in this situation where we're going to be without guys. But if guys are coming back, I mean, as far as having the third option, I 100% believe that is hugely important to everybody on the team, especially guys like DiVincenzo and Brunson. Having somebody to help them out and take a little burden off of them, also make the defense honest so they can get easier shots up, is huge.
Well, if I can keep it current, because we can't make a trade to get anybody to get a third option, so that's off the table there. We can win a championship. I think everybody agrees with that with the roster that we have. So I think playing with it's either you have it, either you're a top heavy or you're not. So the Knicks are not top heavy, and I've been saying for years, if we can't get that all-star caliber player, because nobody wants to come to the Knicks. That's been a narrative this whole time now. So then the other option is to get more talent here to fill up the roster with as much talent as we possibly can. Mm-hmm. So right now, I've been looking on the side, just looking at different stuff here. I mean, the Knicks have like 10 quality players that we could put out there at all times, and that includes the guys that are missing. You know what I'm saying? So we can if we want to, Tom Thibodeau really could pounce on teams. And if the team makes a commitment to move the ball, because Julius is going to be hurt, OG and these guys, they got to get themselves together. But if we can continue to move the ball and play breakneck defense and rebounding is the most important thing. If we can continue to rebound like we normally do, play breakneck defense and play as a team moving the ball, that's what's going to win us a championship. And historically for the Knicks, the championships that we did win like this. We won those championships by moving the ball. We did have Willis Reed and Clyde and stuff, but they were very versatile straight across the board, and then they moved the ball, fast breaking, playing defense. They put our hat on defense and stuff. So this is traditional Knicks basketball. So I think we can win the way that we are, and I'm happy with it. And then just to add to, I don't like the top heavy guys because let's say look at the Nets situation. When the Nets had like three of the greatest, possibly four of the greatest players of this generation, and look what happened to them. You have to deal with the diva mentality of these top heavy players too. So I would prefer to have it more streamlined. That way we won't be like stranglehold by that one player.
I think it just didn't work out. I would take those three players. It just didn't work out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree it didn't work out. One of the things that bothered me, not says bothers me, one of the factors is a couple things. One is the risk when you're top heavy, you know what I mean? One guy going down, you know what I mean? Or if God forbid, if we're top heavy now and we lose our top three guys, you know what I mean? Or whatever. Are we built to withstand that? You know what I mean? Another thing is if you're top heavy, it's not about being top heavy and just having the best talent, right? As this organization has showed, it's about the guys, the actual guys that you're bringing in, the type of people they are. You know what I mean? So they're looking for certain type of people. Now, if you could kill two birds with one stone and get the type of guy you want, and he's that guy, you know what I mean? So I think that helps as well. So you don't want the divas, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So you got to find the ones that are more selfless, more, you know what I mean? Whatever it is you're looking for. You know what I mean? You can't just say, I'm gonna bring. I think that was the thing, and I'm not trying to like knock Kevin Durant and them, but I think they were a little bit too diva-ish. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need a coach. You know what I mean? We don't need this. Like, it was just a little bit too much, where it wasn't just about lunch pail, come to work, do my job, get it done. And I think that's what the Knicks regime is looking for. And to me, I love that. Let me shout out.
I wouldn't say that's what they're looking for. I would say that's what they've been able to get, and they're working with it.
Fair enough.
You know.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And
But I also think I think there's guys that could become available that they would turn down or not have interest in if not just because of their talent. I'll say that.
Go ahead, Tony. You can read the super chat. I'll go after. Sorry.
The bro guard, shout out to you. Appreciate the super chat. He said if we could manage to stay healthy, we would dominate the entire league with ease. This entire team is more than enough. And I think he had another one. Let me just. Yeah. Oh, there we go. My bad. And the funny thing is, you highlighted it. I highlighted the comment. You put it in without a super chat. I was about to bring that up as well, but I appreciate the super chat. He said only player we need is Bridges.
Which one is it, bro? God, we got enough. Is this team enough to win, or we only need to add Bridges? Which one is it?
Super cat contradiction. I'll say this, and this is when the negative Josh will come back out. I don't care. The whole diva thing, to me, I don't think that truly matters when it comes to winning the championship. In my opinion, I really don't think it does. And I'll say,
how come the Nets didn't win the championship?
They didn't want to. Guys around. Kyrie was out 1 year. Kevin Durant's toe was on the line 1 year. It's multiple things that go into it. I don't think it was because they were divas and it just didn't work out. But that goes back to my point about just because you have the best talent does not always guarantee that you're going to win a championship. It's also about the other thing. Now, no matter what, I don't care if the Knicks have all the flexibility in the world and they have all their guys or whatever. You lose Randall or Brunson or OG and Anunoby, you're not winning the championship. Period. I don't care how deep you are and how flexible you are, you're not winning, right? And that goes the same with those diva that quote unquote diva type of players as well that are super top heavy.
Here's what I'm gonna say. This is gonna be my example. Maybe I'm off base, whatever. But when I say, and maybe diva is the wrong word, but you gotta have guys. All right, let me give you an example. I think we will all agree. All things playing right. Shaq and Penny should have won multiple championships together.
Okay.
Agreed?
Mm-hmm.
Why did that not hurt? Why did that not work? Because their egos were clashing.
They were young.
No, that's all true. But Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe, they should have won more championships together. Why did that fail? Because their egos were clashing. Like that's what I mean. Now it doesn't have to be a clash.
They won a few, Tony.
They won, yeah.
They won a few together. So
I'm not saying you can't win it. You can win it. You absolutely could win it with the best talent. But also, it could spoil the locker room. It could not work because they're not willing. Like one guy wants to be 1A, and the other guy wants to be 1A. What I'm saying is, if they said, "Hey, forget about the 1A and 1B, whatever. Let's just keep winning, and then when it's all said and done, we could be the greatest duo, the greatest two guard, the greatest center." Like that's what I'm saying. I'm just giving you an example of when the talent doesn't mean anything because now they're bumping heads because of it. That's just one example of when they did win, but they could have won more. Or Shaq and Penny. Yes, they were young, but if they didn't have those bumping heads, they could have won multiple.
I don't think that's the reason why they didn't win multiple. Yeah, I don't think that's the reason why they didn't win multiple.
That's the reason they didn't stay together.
No, it's more than that. What about politics and the cap and money, going to see contracts and all of that? What about that part?
That's why Shaq.
Can't forget about that either. It's not just about the whole thing and people butting heads. I'm
pretty sure it's on record why Shaquille O'Neal left the Magic and why Shaquille O'Neal asked out for the Lakers. It had nothing to do with salary cap, and I'm sure they was willing to pay whatever it costs to keep these guys together.
I just think you're using the Shaq and Kobe example is not the best example because they actually won championships and they've been to finals.
But my argument was never that it's not that it won't work or it can't work. I'm saying it could work better when you have the right guys together, guys that are willing to sacrifice. That the stuff that Tibbs preaches.
So better in a Shaq and
that's
Kobe
all I'm
sense. I
saying.
mean, better in a Shaq and Kobe sense is not winning 3 championships or winning 4 or 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
I get what you're saying, because I mean,
I-
Shaq was accused of not being in shape the whole time. That if he was in better shape, they could have won way more, than they did. That's what always.
But the years that he wasn't in shape, he actually won. So I don't
Yeah, so I mean, yeah.
But my argument is not that you can't. It was never that you can't.
Nah, you said that they can win more.
My argument is not saying don't get the best talent out there. I'm saying the better option is get the best talent that fits with what you're trying to do. Because sometimes the best talent is not the best option. That's all I'm saying.
Right. And I'm sorry, Quinn. Go ahead.
But you can also have players who fit together and they just not talented enough to win. But everybody is pulling in the same direction and everybody doing what the coach is doing and they not good enough. So there's no guarantee that way either. And if I had to take my chance, I want Shaq and Kobe button heads than a mediocre team pulling in the same direction.
You better have Phil Jackson too.
Okay.
No. That's a good point, Tony. And this is where coaching comes in. This is where the underrated thing to me is coaching. Being able to manage those personalities, knowing what player you're going to put in the game. And this is why I'm putting this whole season on Tibbs. Once we get healthy, come playoff time, this is when Tibbs needs to show up. It's also about when you put those players on the floor, when you make the decision to counteract. Okay, that coach is going to put him in there. I'm going to go ahead and put him in there, just like Tibbs did against Cleveland last year. We quickly wasn't playing well, right? But he made that adjustment to put quickly on the floor with Brunson and Randall. And now they had to take off take Levert off of Brunson and put him on somebody else. Put him on quickly. So that opened up Brunson's game a little bit. Little coaching things like that to me, I think matters. And I don't think we talk about it enough. You know what I mean? Because I guess we haven't really been in the playoffs a lot to really talk about it. But I think that's what's really important, to manage those types of egos and just manage people. That's what coaching is in a nutshell, So
I agree with you, Josh, but I definitely want to push back against the narrative that if we don't go all the way to the championship, it's because Tibbs didn't use the roster well enough. You can have a championship roster on paper, but there's levels to it. It took Milwaukee. They were championship contenders for I don't know how many years before they finally won. Boston was championship contenders for I don't know how many years. They haven't won. The same thing with Philly. So this idea that Tibbs has a roster on paper, not the roster that left training camp, right? A roster that was put together over the course of a season, and we had injuries, so they may only play together for 7 or 8 games before we even get into the playoffs. And to say if we don't get to wherever you want, it has to be Tibbs' fault because he has the roster. Chemistry matters, being able to play together matters. And also, you may have a roster on paper, but we got to see whether or not these guys can play under the bright lights of the playoffs. We have to see that, right? Embiid has struggled. I've seen Paul George struggle. I've seen stars struggle over the light of a playoff. So we have to see this team that we're glorifying on paper, and I'm one of them. We have to see, particularly the deeper they get into the playoffs, you're playing better teams. Everybody knows what your weaknesses are, but when you play better teams, they're able to expose it because they have better players. Who's going to be able to score despite all of that? We're going to have to see. So I agree with you in terms of what Tom Thibodeau needs to do. You're absolutely right, but I don't want to put all of it on Tibbs, given the injuries, not the team coming out of the playoffs. Out of training camp, and we don't know how these guys are going to perform under the bright lights.
You're correct. I think it was a little premature for me to say that right now. So I think you are correct. In the moment, during the playoffs that's basically what I was trying to get at. In the playoffs, in those moments, we have to really judge and find out because there's multiple reasons why we can win. There's multiple reasons why we can lose. Different things happen. That's why we play the games, right? So that's what I was trying to get at. Right. It's a part of it. And so it's premature for me to say that now. I'm just envisioning being the positive Josh that I'm trying to be, a fully healthy Knicks team. I'm optimistic. A fully healthy Knicks team going into the playoffs, and knowing the type of players that Tibbs has to his disposal, I am envisioning all those guys being healthy and being ready. Right. So that's where I was coming from with that.
All right.
But in the multiple things that are going to have to happen, and I think we'll see. That's why we play the games. We'll see. You know what I mean? Nothing's ever going to guarantee you a championship. I've always said that. Nothing guarantees you a championship, no matter who you got.
Right. And there's so many different, like you guys named so many, different examples of it. Another example is the Chicago Bulls a couple years ago. Vucevic, Levine, DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, Caruso, but for the most part, top heavy, right? And that starting unit was running through the East. You guys remember they were running through the East. Even when the Knicks played them, we were like, man, they're a little tough matchup. And Lonzo Ball was giving people fit. He was giving Julius Randle fits on defense. But then once Lonzo went down,
that was it.
You didn't cultivate your bench, and you didn't have enough in the starting lineup no more. It was over.
That was it.
Yeah,
Once they lost him, it was over. Yeah.
If I can add, man, it all comes down to fit. All comes down to luck. Because we mentioned like teams, we mentioned errors, we mentioned coaches and stuff. I'm looking at a team from the Bucks a couple years ago. They won 60 games, but that wasn't the year they won the championship. They won 60 games with Eric Bledsoe and Malcolm Brogdon in the backcourt. You know what I'm trying to say? So how come they didn't win a championship there? Because certain things didn't come into play, things didn't work out, this, that, and the other. So every team is going to constantly be rolling. Because this team that the Bucks won, they won with a whole different group. Now the Celtics team, they're basically playing the same style of ball, but now they got Kristaps and stuff. So everybody's just constantly moving, but that doesn't guarantee them that they're going to win the championship. Everything has to come in together in the right way and stuff. And there's been so many different examples. If we could bring it back to the Knicks, in 1999, it was a strike-shortened season. We just took the lead by storm at the end. The general manager got fired that year. But that same team that general manager put together is the one that went to the finals. So, anything can happen. All it really just takes is a little bit of luck for everything to come in together. And like Josh said, you got to play the games. Once that ball is tipped in the playoffs, right. Different animal. Look at Miami Heat recently. They went to the finals 2 years, with the lockout season and then last, a couple seasons ago, you really have to just wait and see what your teams are made out of.
Begs the question if we think that Randall getting hurt at the time he did, or OG getting hurt at the time he did was, I don't want to say the perfect time, because at least it didn't happen right before the playoffs and stuff like that. It happened early enough where he can be able to come back. Perfect is the wrong word, but kind of begs that question. Last year we lost Randall right before the playoffs. Right. Terrible timing. You know what I'm saying?
It could be perfect because teams don't have enough time to really scout us. Like towards the end of the season, once we get our rotations going, maybe if the Knicks could all of a sudden get into like a run, like as right when the playoffs start, teams haven't really had a chance to scout us with those guys that are missing, and then including with Precious and all these guys, how they fit to the mix, but they don't know how to really deal with us. They're gonna have to deal with that during the playoffs.
They're gonna be scouting through clips with guys in different jerseys, you know what I mean, on different teams. Like, he likes to do this, all right. He likes to do this, all right. This guy kind of plays like him on the Knicks, so let's look at this play. Like, they're not gonna have enough info.
At the end of the day, though, there's no surprises. You might be able to get away with that for like maybe a game or so, but they'll figure it out.
Yep.
Up 2-0, I'll take it. Oh. The bro guy, he said, you playing players 40 minutes every game is gonna be hard to stay healthy.
Who's playing 40 plus minutes every game? That's what I want to know.
Precious, but I'm just saying. Oh,
is he? Is he really?
Yeah, yeah, on the Knicks he is, or at least since Randall went down. I was just gonna say you could get hurt in 50 seconds as well. So
47 seconds.
To me, I'm wondering, and I'll ask those on the panel and those in the community in the chat. To me, I feel it's more about the recovery. Like if you're playing 47 minutes, then the next day you got 2 days of practice, then you got to come back and you don't get an opportunity to recover. I think recovery is important. So if these guys are, minutes are up because of injuries, but they able to sleep, the practice is not at 7:00 the next morning, right? So they get to sleep in. And when they do come to practice, they walk, it's walkthroughs.
Walkthroughs, yeah.
I mean, for me, but again, I'm not a recovery coach. If there's any out here on the panel in the chat, let me know. I think the recovery is super important.
Tips don't give a damn about that. That Detroit and Pelicans game, Josh had 42 and 40 back to back, and I don't have the full box scores. I'm quite sure other guys played heavy minutes too. But I mean, we're shorthanded, so he gets a pass for that.
And he was coming up for a reoccurring knee injury.
Right.
Anybody want to add anything? I got one last little segment before we get out of here.
I just wanted to say that what was his name? Kofi, Eddie Kofi. Shout out to you. He said, "Do you people know Tibbs very well? Do you? He's not flexible." Just wanted to say, being flexible is it's selective, right? Especially when it comes to somebody like Tibbs. It's more of not necessarily saying that Tibbs is going to expand the roster and go like 11 deep, you know what I mean? But more of if he's going to play 9 guys or even 10, but really if he's going to play 9 guys, that he makes the rotation work for what's happening in the game, like understanding how to go with the hot hand, understanding if something's not right, being able to go to my bench and change stuff up, and knowing that I need to get something from somewhere else, and maybe that'll spark something over here. He's getting better at that. It's not consistent, but I will say he's getting better at it, and he's had different games where it's been on display where we're like, okay. I mean, even John talked about it a couple shows ago, the Philadelphia game. Tibbs coached his butt off in that game. He did some really good things in that game. So, like, it all depends. But yes, we know who Tibbs is. He's very rigid, but he's growing a little bit, man. He's doing little things, here and there that are giving us hope.
I've seen him make changes last year in the playoffs. In the playoffs.
I was in the regular season too. Actually, before the playoffs, he was making some changes.
Yeah, I mean, again, I mentioned the thing with putting Quickly on the floor despite him not shooting well, putting him out there with Brunson and Randall on the floor. That definitely had to make Cleveland adjust and change things up. And also, to me, I thought he was kind of too flexible, right? Because I felt like Grimes should have been in that starting lineup in that second series against Miami. Well, that's a topic for a different day. So to me, I think he changed up a little bit too much, in my opinion. So we've seen him do it. I think we're really going to be able to tell in the playoffs. Because these regular season games, you're playing a different team every night. You're not playing the same team. You got to prepare for the same team every single night. That's when the coaching comes out, right? Because it's counter moves, chess moves, right? You know what I'm saying? During the regular season, you're playing different teams every night, different game plans, different matchups, different lineups. You know what I mean? It's really difficult to really tell. In the playoffs is when we can really tell, in my opinion.
I'm just gonna add, and this is the most amount of players on the team that are Tibbs type of players. You know what I mean? So he has more flexibility. This is the most flexibility he's had as far as the roster with guys that, you know what I mean, he could trust, and you could tell he values these guys individually. All right, so Saturday, today's Monday, the game was Sunday. Saturday, I thought I had some free time. I was gonna jump on and do a pod. I was gonna reach out to all you guys. And basically I was gonna call it a new show called Temperature Check. Same vein as Losers Lounge, you know what I mean? Go invade the comments of the player of the team we're about to play and see how they feeling about
What
this.
about the Knicks fans' temperature check?
Oh man.
You know what? You can do it both ways. Losers Lounge when we win, temperature check when we lose.
But I was checking on the Cavs before the game, you know what I mean, to see what they were saying. I ended up not having time, so I didn't even make I just got the screenshots. I didn't make the slides, so I'm gonna read a couple of them, and then I just want you guys to give me your reactions. It's kind of funny considering we won the game. So the first one was, lights won't be bright tomorrow, and Anunoby, Randall, Mitchell Robinson are listed as out for tomorrow. It was weird because when I read it, I thought he thought the game was at the Garden. You know what I mean? But maybe he meant something else by it. I don't know. So you don't got to comment on that one. The next one, he said, all right, Knicks game is definitely going to be competitive with a playoff vibe. And then the Celtics game is the measuring stick, though. I think they play the Celtics next.
Oh.
So the Knicks game is going to be a playoff vibe but the Celtic game is the measuring stick.
Yeah, but that's not a fair assessment. You can't have something be a measuring stick when you know you don't have the full complete roster. And it's not like you don't have the full complete roster and they're not coming back. You don't have the full complete roster and you're waiting for when they can come back to help the team. So that's tough. I wouldn't say I wouldn't use that for the Boston game. That I don't think that's fair.
When do we play Boston?
No, this is the
There was
Cavs
previous
fan
prior to it,
talking
right?
about the Cavs.
Oh, the cat. Oh, I think
saying-
you were talking about the Knicks.
No, this is the Cavs fans saying the Knicks game is going to be a playoff atmosphere,
Oh, I
but
see.
the Celtic
Oh, and the
game
Boston game is the
is the
okay. Well,
measuring
that's
stick
different.
game.
Yeah,
For
for
them.
them, yeah.
Them,
Okay,
okay.
that makes sense. All right, okay, got you.
So
I don't use any regular season game as a measuring stick for playoff basketball. I just don't. And I know a lot of people hate that. I know me, Tony, and Simmons spoke about this before. I just don't. I don't look at regular season games individually as a measuring stick for playoffs. We beat Denver by 40. We beat Denver by 40.
Right.
I don't think that's how that's going to end up in the playoffs. Like, oh, we can beat them now in the 7-game series. No, never thought that. If we lost to Denver by 40, I would be saying the same exact thing. So I mean, that's just me how I look at it.
it could be a measuring stick. I'll give you an example from a Cavs perspective, right? Why it could be a measuring stick game. Had they beat us, I think they would have been second seed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they lost, they're down to third seed. So had they beat us, they in the second seed, and then they play the Celtics. If they beat them, or if it's a tight competitive game, they can feel this is a measuring stick for the regular season. Are we really a 2 seed, or we just got hot and you know what I mean? That's where we are currently. You know what I mean? So it could
But
be a
were they
measuring.
talking about the regular season, or were they talking about a measuring stick for the playoffs?
I mean, I don't know, but I mean, measuring stick I mean, it's still a measuring stick. That's all I'm saying. They didn't specify.
Wins and losses, I mean, that's going to dictate your standing anyway. So that goes without saying. You know what I mean? I was thinking more about like the playoff matchups and that kind of stuff. But if it's something different, then it's something different.
You know, their fan base are weirdos too, because I was looking at some videos and stuff, and they were talking about like you know, they got really pissed off that nobody did anything to Josh Hart about the chain, you know, and about you know, this guy's comments, you know, about that you know, that the 47 minutes messed them up and stuff. So some of the fan bases that do their own podcasts in Cleveland, they were kind of jumping on them about how soft their team is and this, that, the other.
Mm-hmm.
But they had one of the best winning Januaries also. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Their record is above us and stuff like that. So same thing too. I don't look at these regular season games like they mean anything either, man. Because why you gonna get so pissed off? And because on Twitter is ridiculous with that after games, win or loss. Sometimes we can win and be like, oh, but look at Miles McBride. They only played, you know, but we won the game. So like, you know, fans could be fickle all across the board. You know what I'm saying? So Cleveland Cavaliers, their fans are just as bad as us.
But
And they're only saying, "Oh, go ahead."
No, go ahead, Ron.
I was just going to say they're only saying that because of the fact that we've already made them look soft in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a history of when they play the Knicks that we made their bigs look super soft, Strowman extra soft. So they feel a certain way about their club already. And let me tell you, just thinking about it, if you really just think about it, because now I'm that dude always after the fact, like, wow, why didn't he do this? It happened so quick. I know he wasn't thinking, and he's got no issues. But the smart, savvy type of guy, and I'm not saying it would have happened, like a Jimmy Butler maybe, had he been on the sideline with that chain. All you got to do is make enough of a reaction that the refs see it, and guess who gets the technical foul? Josh Hart. And at that point, to give them free points, everybody was like, yo, Josh Hart is a dummy. What a bonehead move. He hit the shot, and then look what he did. That was an easy technical that he avoided, you know, but that's Josh. You know, Josh is helter-skelter. Not you,
No,
Josh,
I'm not.
but maybe you a little bit. I don't know.
All right.
I will. Let me just
go
add
ahead,
this last
Queen.
point to not comparing a team, how a team plays in the regular season. Me personally, just me, I do the same thing when it comes to individual players. If somebody has a hot game or they have a hot stretch, oh, we're gonna be able to count on him when the play. We shall see. We shall see. Maybe. But until I actually see it in the playoffs, to me, it's always a maybe because it's just a different game. It's just a different game.
Yep, 100%. I agree.
And one more thing, Tony, before you move on, I just one thing and not like so much as a measuring stick, but what you can use these regular season games for, especially like the Cavaliers who are in second right now, is just to see how you match up with a team, right? Because if they play Boston multiple times, I won't use one game, but if you played them multiple games and you played them close, maybe you split, maybe you won some of the games, at least now you know we match up pretty well with them. Going into the playoffs, if we get them as a seed, we have a chance. It's favorable because that's the only way I look at it, just to know if you match up with a team and how that looks. Because we know that as Knicks fans, we look at certain teams and we're like, I don't really want to face them in the first round. We can beat them, but I don't want to deal with them first. You know what I mean? Like for the Knicks, it would be Boston. A healthy Knicks team, I have no doubt in my mind that they will give Boston hell and possibly beat them in a 7-game series with the healthy Knicks team. But I don't want to do it in the first round. If it happens, it happens. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Stuff like that makes sense to me.
No doubt. I got 3 or 4 more. All right. Knicks game loses its luster with no Randall and no OG. Almost makes it more important though. Would be bad if we lose.
Yeah, that's right. It would be
Talking
bad.
on
It
both
was
sides
bad.
of the mouth in that comment.
It is bad.
I think he came into a realization though, like, man, you know what I mean? It loses its luster, and then he's like, well, wait, if we
Midway through the
lose,
tweet.
yeah, if we lose, yeah, well, you lost, buddy.
I actually think it's really I don't want to do that. That's a big word, indictment. But it shows a lot about how the Cavaliers are structured. Like they have been hot. They've been on a roll. Donovan was healthy. He was carrying them. And throughout that time, I was saying it, I've already said it on a couple other shows, that Cav fans were a little upset with Garland, because he's been struggling while all this has been going on, even though they've been winning. But last night, he was cooking, right? And they still, like, they were in the game, but I didn't necessarily feel like the Knicks were going to lose. So it's like something about their team, the guys on their team not being able, the next man up mentality and stepping up on the whole. They had, Sam Merrill played well and Garland played well, but there's other guys that you would think at some point need to step up and take their game to the next level, especially when they're playing a Knicks team that's so depleted of our star type players. So, yeah.
I don't know. I think we just won a game and they just lost the game. Because think about when Mobley and Garland was out, Donovan Mitchell stepped up, don't get me wrong, but a lot of other players had to step up on that team as well for them to have the record that they did when both of those guys was out. I just think we got one, and I'm happy about it. But I don't know if I want to read too much into it as far as Cleveland is concerned.
Well, I mean, but to your point, Steph, you're right, and that's true. But the only thing I would push back a little bit on that is from what I've heard, and I wasn't following them, but their strength of schedule was pretty weak throughout that win streak, where they're getting fat on the lower echelon of the league. They were beating up on bad teams, so they won against a good team here and there, but they had they had a very favorable schedule, and so that to me just says, once again, a Knicks team that's depleted. We got something. The intangibles that I've always talked about, I talk about the ancillary stats. We got a bunch of guys that do that now, Steph. A bunch of these guys will get a rebound, an assist, a block, a steal. And that's the difference to me. Hustle.
And they haven't played their best at full strength. They played their best with different guys out, like different focal points out. Even prior to the All-Star break, when Donovan went out, they were winning games without him. You know what I mean? So very similar to the Knicks, but they haven't been playing well in the since the All-Star break overall. Last two, if the Cavs let the Knicks bully them again, I'm absolutely done watching. I'd rather hear about it than see it myself. Oh, you think we bullied them?
We got real estate in their brains. We got real estate in all Cavaliers fans right now.
I think if the game had just ended with how it ended, how we played, I don't think it necessarily would have affected them that bad. But when Josh Hart hit the 3 and then touched Mitchell's chain, I think that just goes back to you guys are the little dudes. Oh, that's a nice chain. That's just funny stuff,
man. You don't touch somebody's chain like that, man. That's crazy disrespectful. You know?
That's just funny stuff, man.
I do think we have real estate in not just the fans. I think in the back of the Cavs' mind, the players. I think you know what I mean. I think part of them want the Knicks to try to get revenge. You know what I mean? Like they probably was circling the Knicks games and all that, but at the same time, they know, yo, what is it about this team?
I'm quite sure they're scared because the guy that killed them in the playoffs was Mitchell Robinson. He wasn't even playing. So what they're gonna do when Mitchell Robinson come back? I'm quite sure these guys are losing sleep. You know, thinking about the Knicks.
And I feel like they started the year kind of trying to bully teams themselves. Allen's been like from early in the year before he got hurt, like he was looking like he was taking last year's player personal. You know what I mean? Like he was showing some muscle and things. But yeah, I don't think they built for us. Last one, and we out of here. You already know if the Cavs win tomorrow, they're gonna get discredited. Shaking my head.
Why? Because the Knicks were injured?
Yeah.
Damn.
So
that's a fan. That's a fan that's been through the ringer. Like even we win, we not gonna. It's gonna look. You know.
I actually responded to that dude. He ain't ever hit me back, but I was like, so what does it mean when you lose with all our guys out?
Sheesh.
Since you're gonna get discredited if you win. But yeah, I think I'm gonna add that whenever I'm available, the day before a game. You know, I'm gonna add that little check their temperature. Queen, I like your thought. I might check the Knicks temperature too.
Because that can give you a show after every game, whether we win or lose. It's just a different show.
That's true.
Right. That makes sense. And here the question here is, if we have real estate in their head, does Orlando have real estate in our heads? Right? Is Dante DiVincenzo really taking that next step as a player, or is he a system player? You know, the comfortability of playing with his homeboys and in a free-flowing Tibbs offense where you can jack up shots and be comfortable.
Question for the Queen's Court.
Yeah, you know, I'm giving you content questions right here. I shouldn't be releasing this stuff, you know.
Well, I'm gonna hold my answer there. I'm gonna hold my answers. You know what I mean? Because I was gonna respond, but
just saying.
I like that. I might have to put that on a shirt.
Just saying.
Cabs and bruises. You already know.
Oh man.
I got a show in 15 minutes, so I'm gonna have to go. I appreciate all of you. Good to see you, Josh, Ron, Eru. I hardly see you guys or share the panel with you guys. Tone, we don't do it often enough, but I'll see you next.
I'll be right over there too.
Yeah, peace. And anybody else want to join, please.
Appreciate you.
Now this was great. All in all, hope Brunson gets healthy and fast. You know what I mean? I don't mind him taking the next game off and kind of getting everybody back. That'd be nice if he come back. Maybe somebody else come back with him on Friday. You know what I mean? And then Sunday we at the game. Either you going to the game?
To which one?
Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be there.
Okay, so yeah, hopefully we at full strength on the 10th. It might be a couple tickets left. I don't got the link, but you go to Sim's channel, the link's on there. You know what I mean? Get them tickets. International Andy will be in America at the Garden for the first time.
Sim just posted the picture like he's on the plane. Yeah, he's on the plane right now.
He's already in America now. He should have landed. Yeah, he should already landed a while ago.
Oh.
Did you
see
see
10-hour flight, but he should be
here. Table? They had 2 bottles of vodka on the table, man. Them guys.
They wouldn't have a good time.
That's not from the plane. That was from the airport. You know what I'm saying? Those guys, you know, I can't wait to meet them. Those guys are pretty crazy when they come.
Oh man, I haven't drank since New Year's either, so I don't know. It might just be a shot for the night for me because you know my tolerance went down.
Well, definitely, guys, come out and show your love. And I mean, if y'all haven't had a chance to come out to an NBK event, why wait? You know, come out to this one Sunday. There's tickets available, as Tony was saying, to the game if you want. And even if you can't go to the game, if time's not right now for you, come out to Legends, man. I'll be at Legends at least for the first half of something. You know what I mean? Come out and show your love, and we'll chop it up.
Yeah, and if you want to go to Legends, watch the game there. You know what I mean? We'll be back for the post-game show there as well. So pre-game show at Legends, post-game show at Legends. We'll be at the game. If you're not going to the game, you can watch the game at Legends. You know what I mean? Hold it down.
Yeah, food and drink is dope too, man. You know, the wings are really good. The veggie burger is really good. Somebody said the burgers are good too. So, you know, come out and eat.
Yeah.
Spend some money.
The veggie burgers.
I had a club.
Yeah, it was good. Veggie burger was good, man.
A club sandwich for the first time. I've never had a club sandwich, and that joint was slamming. I don't even eat club sandwiches, but so whatever you like, they got it. It's good. Shout out to the chat. Appreciate the panel, man.
Oh wait, before you go, Tony. Sorry, I just want to say real quick, shameless, selfless plug. Tonight, 9 p.m. If y'all have a chance tonight, we know it's busy. Mondays are very busy with Knick content in our community. So I would say go back and forth between the Queen show and my show, or, you know, whatever, because you don't want to miss it. Queen, I'm sure, is going to be talking about some great stuff. We got Dexter Henry from, you know, New York Post and SNY. He's going to be on the show. We're going to be chopping it up. So it should be a pretty fun night.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. So yeah, let's get over to the Queen's Court. You know what I mean? And we see Ron about 9:15ish. You know what I mean? And yeah,
you got John with you though.
Yeah, John's gonna be rocking, and Jose's in the background on the ones and twos holding us down. Pew 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 pew.
Can't miss Henry. Ebro, you got anything coming?
I'm always got something coming, man. But it also depends on the time and shit, man. But you know, me and State gonna be doing once a week. The Dark State of Mind is back. We're gonna be doing that once a week. That's
dope.
Too.
I saw you guys.
I was just about to say I seen it was upcoming. It was when I had to go to sleep, but I'm gonna catch it on a replay for sure.
Yeah, we'll do that once a week, and then you know, I got the watch alongs going on, and then I have some other stuff too that I'm trying to get up popping too, man. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and Eru, I just want to let you know. Sorry, I apologize, Tony. I'm not taking over the show, but this is Knicks and Bruises and Ron. We got to chop it up, but this week, hopefully, we can get back to doing the wrap up stuff. Sim's working on some behind the scenes stuff for me. So,
all right, copy.
Yeah, triple header.
I like the beard, bro. I like the beard, Mr. Fulio. Looks dope. I like it.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Tell him why. Tell him why.
Bro. I'm out the military.
Oh, you out already? Yeah.
You're a sailor. He was a sailor in the Navy, and then he grows a Navy beard once he leaves the Navy. It's like,
guys, put that time in, baby. Let's go.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate it. Always a pleasure being on, Tony. Thank you for having me, man. You the man. Wish I could be at the event on Sunday. I can't, unfortunately, but I'll be sure to catch the next one.
Yeah, official veteran.
My guy.
I am Jarrell, still Knicks and Bruises. You already know. Still diehard Knicks and Bruises. With a little bit of controversy. Now,
there you go.
We out of here. Appreciate you guys for jumping in, man. I'll see y'all Sunday. Josh,
go Knicks.
I know you be there in spirit. Maybe I'll take 2 shots. I'll take one for you.
Okay. Gotta be tequila though.